Hello, how do you do? I wanted to talk to you today about not giving up and not believing you are too old. And I've heard people in their 30s say that they're too old for change, or they'll say things like, oh, well, I've already achieved everything I ever wanted to achieve, which I don't know. I think you could live a million lifetimes and still not achieve everything. But here, this was a present given to me last night by my daughters, which I'm very pleased with, very, very pleased to have. Look at them, look at those. And this is because for the last 2 months or so, I've been taking kickboxing classes. Now, both my daughters also do kickboxing. My eldest daughter is the instructor, and my youngest daughter is, I think, on her fourth belt. I don't have a belt yet. I've got a white belt, but technically you don't have a belt. The point is, though, okay, I'm 60. And in the last 2.5 years, I have put on, I'd put on about 2.5 stone. I was putting on a pound a month, I think I worked out. And so at the bottom of my wardrobe, I've got bin bags full of clothes I can't wear because I can't get in them. And why did I put on weight? Well, it's not got anything to do with age as such. It's got to do with the fact that circumstances in my life were a bit tricky. A few things happened, as does in life. And I kind of lost my momentum and I kind of went into survival mode. And when I say that, I mean, do what needed to be done day in, day out, get on with it, get on with it, get on with it. And I kind of lost my oomph. And so I started overeating and I wasn't exercising anywhere near enough, not in the way I used to do. And then it just got easier and easier. And there was at the time, there wasn't any chance for change. So it just had to be, get involved in what needs to be done, work routine. And so in a way, there wasn't anything to look forward to, or that's how it felt. I'm not saying my life was awful. There was still a lot of good stuff in my life. I've got a lot of good people in my life. I'm a very, very, very lucky person, very lucky. But I understand how I got into that place where I started putting weight on. And then when she'd put on 1/2 stone, and then the winter came and he got big baggy clothes on, and it just went, just piled up. And now my eldest daughter is also a fitness instructor. And I would, I knew these classes were going on. This is my own daughter, but I would resist going. And I said something that drove my youngest daughter mad. And I can understand exactly why. I would say, well, I'm too embarrassed to go now. I'm fatter than I like to be. And I just felt like an apple on legs, And when I've lost weight, then I'll go. And of course, she'd heard this a million times from people, hadn't she? And I even when I was saying the words, I knew they were ridiculous. I knew they were ridiculous. But then one day, I don't know what it was, something in my head went, oh, come on. And I was starting to feel really unfit. So I went and joined in, and it nearly bloody killed me because it's fast-paced stuff, But I started to go, and gradually I started to get fit. And there were people in the class bigger than me. There were people younger than me who were carrying more weight than they wanted to. Nobody cared. Nobody was in the slightest bit interested. Everybody was just too interested in doing their own, getting on with it and doing all the exercises and jumping up and down on the spot and doing all the things we have to do and puffing and panting a lot. And so anyway, I would go, drop my youngest daughter off at the kickboxing classes. And the last grading that my daughter's school had, I watched them all and I thought, I've seen these people, I've seen them come on over the weeks over the months, as I've been popping in, dropping my daughter off, etc., etc. I'd seen them sort of advancing. And of course, there's little children, there's bigger children, there's adults. And the grading is always an amazingly positive experience. And I wanted to be part of that positive experience so badly. so badly. It was fun. It was wonderful to see people competing. And the Kyoshi, he is a very, very entertaining guy, and everybody, he's one of those that people will look up to and admire, and they just love to see him, and he makes the evening fun. And I just thought, I want to be a part of this. I really do. And that night I made a decision, I'm going to start. And I did. And now I go actually mostly 3 nights a week. So I know everybody couldn't go 3 nights a week. I know they couldn't do that. I mean, if you've got, having said that, there's a number of young mothers there, and their children go, and then they go as well, so, there's always ways around it. But anyway, I have lost probably about 9 pounds, and without trying really hard in terms of diet, but I know I've altered my diet. I don't believe in going on a diet. I don't believe in it. I believe in adopting a way of eating that is mostly normal. So I personally find it easier to count calories. Other people have their ways, but it's always worked for me. But obviously I've got to get in the zone, And so the way I kept the weight off for years was I counted my calories every day. And somebody, I can't be bothered. Well, we can't have our cake and eat it, if you pardon the pun, given the subject we're talking about. But what was I going to say? So I would count my calories every day, and I would exercise as well. I love walking, and I love walking fast. So I bung my music on, bit of rock music, whatever, and walk really fast and lift weights. Didn't go to a gym, didn't cost me any money, just do everything at home. And I kept the weight off. Guys, I always stayed below 2,000 calories. And it actually wasn't that hard. It really wasn't, once you get into the rhythm of it. And then if I went away anywhere, like we used to go to bike rallies, we haven't done them in the last couple of years for various reasons. And I would then just eat what I wanted to over the weekend, and then just carry on counting my calories. So it wasn't a diet. It was just recognizing that, a body only needs so much food, and then figuring out, well, I can eat more of that if it's a bit lower calorie. Do you know what I mean? So I found that you can eat a huge amount if you're picking the right kinds of foods and still have a treat. And I like a drink. So I tell you, I would include in that a little bottle of vintage cider every night. And I would have a little bit of something sweet as well. But I must admit, I do like salads. I love salad, and I love hot and cold food together. So it's not so, but it's just getting in the zone, But the thing is, I feel fitter. I can tell you, I feel so much fitter that 2 months. There have been times when it's been really, really hard, but I can now I hated sit-ups with a vengeance. I would avoid them. And yet this area of my body here, still flabby and fat, but I can feel the muscles underneath. I can feel them under there. And my legs feel so much stronger. And I started off with a really dicky shoulder, and I mean really painful. And also a knee. 29 years ago, I had the cartilage removed, and it's been okay. But in the last year or so, it started to give me some jip. And then at a fitness class, I dropped a medicine ball. They're quite heavy, right on top of the kneecap. And I rolled around on the floor, wanting to scream and swear for a while, and then picked myself back up and got on with it. But after that, it wasn't quite right. But I went to see the physiotherapist at the doctor's, and he said, you're just doing the best thing. He said, just keep going. And he was right. And my shoulders this one still have more limited movement in it than this one, but it's a huge amount better. I promise you it's a huge amount. And my knee, I was wearing, what do you call it? When you pull them on over your knee, like a knee support. Don't really need to wear it now, but I'm aware, I just take a little bit of care. But the building of the muscles is really helped, but it's helped me in here as well. So anyway, I brought these home because I've got to practice by God. Thing is, see these gloves? I wore them for the first time last night because I was holding my hands in the wrong place. I punched myself in the face a few times, poof, like this. So you've got to expect a few bruises when you're doing martial arts. But it is great, and the atmosphere in the school is great. We have a lot of laughs. But it all started with me getting to a point where I couldn't be that. I can't be this little dumpy person anymore. And okay, I weigh 10.5 stone. And to some people, they might say that's not a huge amount. Some women weigh a lot more than that and they look great. They're curvy. They look really good. But I'm 5'2.5" and I've got an athletic build. That's my natural build. And so when I put weight on, I literally look like an apple on legs. And nobody else cares in the world except me. But I cared. And I didn't want to be that person anymore. So don't hold yourself back, okay? And I know you might say, people say, well, I've got this issue or I've got arthritis, but there's always something we can do. I promise you there's always something we can do. Now, quickly, because I've got a habit of rambling on forever and ever. I don't know whether you can see it, but anyway, this is what I call my positivity board. And a lot of people have them and they call them wish boards and various things. But I'll just show you quick. You can see me getting up here. I don't know whether this will work or not. And I think the way that this camera records, it's back to front, so I don't know if I can change it round. But you see here, let me try and get myself out of the way a bit. Frank Fearless Fabulous, picture of Helen Mirren. And it would be nice to think you are in your prime at 67. Love the age you are. And now I've got to think about my neck. See, I'll sit here, see if I can show you here. No, you can't see it, but anyway, you can't see it clearly on here, but I've got that wobble, it's crepey. Now again, nobody else on the planet cares, but I care. And so it's learn to love your neck again. And I use moisturizer and I do my exercises like that. And this board really cheers me up. I've got a picture of me there on when I got my little motorbike the first day it was delivered. It's not a very clear picture. And I weighed about 8'12" then, which wasn't my slimmest, but I did look okay. Teeth. I want to be able, £100,000 money. I want to attract more money and I want to be able to always look after my teeth. I'd like a new big fridge freezer and I'd love a new bed. So all of this on here, fall in love with your life, So it's just something, and I do look at it every day and it really does cheer me up. Let's just put it back without tripping over. There you go. So, boxing gloves and wish boards. So if you want, it doesn't matter whether you're 30, you're 40, you're 50, you're 60, you're 70, it doesn't matter. Age is up here, limitation and restriction is up here. And there's no way I am going into my old age feeling the way I did and getting worse and not getting better, getting worse. So the weight's coming off, the muscle is developing, I'm feeling better, feeling stronger. And I want to share that with people. I want to encourage people, So I think that's it about it really. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and get your own wish board out or your own positivity board, whatever it is you want to call it. And whatever it is you love doing, you might want to dance around your living room. About 15 years ago, I'd put on weight. Life was very, very stressful. So obviously I'm a comfort eater when life is stressful. And I lost 4 stone in a really short period of time. And I did keep it off for a long time. And it made me laugh because I had met my partner about a year after I'd lost all that weight. And anyway, you're going about your life. And I kept bumping into people who hadn't seen for a while. And they would go, my God, you've lost weight. I was a bit offended. 1 or 2 people said, have you been ill? I think it's because I lost it quite quickly. I was really rigid. I would never do that again, I promise you. But at that time in my life, which I was really stressful time, it gave me something to focus on and control. And I promise you, I went to bed hungry every single night. I went to bed, I was always hungry, but I was not giving in. No, I wouldn't do that now. And I wouldn't advise anybody else did it either. But it gave me some sense of control. Do you know what? There's something I can control in my life. And anyway, I laughed because my partner said to me one day, "You must have been a real porker." And I said, "Why?" He said, "We keep meeting people who go, 'Oh my God, have you lost weight?'" And I thought, God, yeah, but maybe, and I think I was about 12 and a half stone then. But again, I'm only little in height. And I'm not a curvy woman. And so, I look at curvy women, and sometimes somebody said to me the other day, "How much do you think I weigh?" Oof, never answer that question. But I was shocked when she said 12 and a half stone, because she didn't look like I looked at 12 and a half stone. She's taller than me. She's 5'7". She looked lovely, curvy, great. So it's how we feel. And I know that I want to feel strong. I want to feel fit. And the kickboxing it's not for me about fighting. I've got to remind myself sometimes that I'm actually supposed to be punching people when I'm doing it, in my head, but it's learning skills. It's learning skills. It's retaining those skills, and it's developing flexibility and strength. And I just love that. So anyway, I wish you all the best of luck, and I'll catch up with you again. Take care. Bye.